Hi, welcome to my video called Simple Wealth Principles for Extraordinary Wealth Creation. So how can it be simple if it's extraordinary wealth? Let's have a look. Today you're being presented to by Catherine Smith, that's myself. I have a numerous number of degrees in accounting, finance, tax, mortgage broking, real estate, to name a few. However, more importantly, I'm a passionate property investor for over 20 years, bought and sold in most states of Australia. As usual, disclaimers on everything we do these days. This is not meant to be personal financial advice, and please make sure you do get any such advice before taking action. So what are the basic wealth principles? Principle number 1, pay yourself first. Principle number 2 is the law of compounding. Principle number 3 is investing for growth. And principle number 4, investing for the long term. They actually sound quite simple, and they actually are. So number 1, pay yourself first. Save the first 10% of your earnings before spending, rather than save what is left after spending. That comes from the richest man in Babylon, George S. Glasson. Sounds simple, but let's have a look at what it means. Most people live from week to week. They get their pay, they spend it all, and there's maybe some left, maybe not. If there is some left, they might save it. What we're actually recommending here is so simple. Save the first 10%. Whatever your income is, put 10% of it aside and work out your lifestyle so that you live on the 90%. Very simple. Then you need to invest those savings. So why do you need to invest? Basically against inflation. The dollar value of $100 in 1980 is now worth $32 in March. That's March 2003. That would even be less by now. So what this means is that you can't just simply have the money sitting in a bank account or under your bed. Worse still, in a bank account, at least you might get interest enough to keep up with inflation, but it's still not getting you anywhere. So why do you invest against inflation? You need to put your money to work for you instead of under the mattress. Inflation corrodes the value of money. Over time, it will actually be worthless. So at least put the money in the bank in the highest possible interest earning accounts. However, there's more than that. The law of compounding, Albert Einstein quoted it to say, compounding is mankind's greatest invention because it allows for the reliable, systemic accumulation of wealth. What does that actually mean? Who will be wealthier? In this example, we have Faith, who invests $2,000 a year. That's actually not a large sum of money. Most people, with a bit of budgeting and a bit of saving, could save $2,000 a year. And she puts $2,000 a year aside between the ages of 21 and 30. She's only saved $20,000, but she keeps it in the bank compounding. Joe, on the other hand, he waits till he's 31, and he invests $2,000 a year for 34 years. So he's now invested $70,000. Who's wealthier, Faith or Joe? Interestingly enough, actually it's Flo, they've called her in this next slide. Flo has now invested and kept that money in there until she's age 65. She is now close to $450,000, whereas Joe is less than, around about 350, maybe 375 by the looks of that graph. So as you can see, the simple fact of putting money in early and letting it compound is the fastest way to wealth, rather than trying to catch up at a later stage. The power of compounding, once again, just another simple example. $10,000 put aside and saved over a 40-year period. That $10,000, so they've added nothing more, just a $10,000 in an account, earning 10%, which would have to look hard for you to get that 10%, but there are definitely ways to get it, have saved close to $419,000 over the 40-year period. So the mere action of placing cash at bank and letting the interest accumulate is very, very simple and easy. But term deposits, this is just putting the money in the bank in term deposit versus investing in the share market, with the white line being the term deposits and the yellow line being in the share market. As you can see, over a number of years, These graphs are quite dated, but they're still relevant. From 1980 to 2002, the money in the share market is far more than the money in a term deposit. Further from that though, term deposits are a good start, but far more can be earned from investing in the share market. But shares versus property. In another video in this series, Shares versus Property, I show you how 200,000 invested in property over 10 years makes more than 3 million more than shares. Big numbers? Have a look at the video to prove it. So if investing in term deposits and cash is better than cash, and investing in shares is better than term deposits, how much is investing in property better than all of them? But what about superannuation? Property versus superannuation is another very convoluted subject, and there's people arguing on both sides of the fence. I love this argument. I've actually written a few articles in newspapers on it, because what I see is that people who are selling property will argue for property. People who are selling super or shares will argue for super or shares. I have another article which talks about that. But what I'm saying in the articles and in a webinar that I also run, why would you choose super over property? You can actually have property in super, the best of both worlds. So you can have the phenomenal growth in property that I spoke about on the last slide in your superannuation. What? A lot of people, this is a new concept. However, what's happening in the marketplace at the moment is it's the #1 growth area. The latest statistic is people are setting up self-managed super funds, one in Australia every 15 minutes, new SMSFs. And I'm in that industry and setting a lot of these funds up for clients, and the majority of them are going into property. Well, having said that, you don't have to. But I do have a video, how to buy property in a self-managed super fund. I show you how simple and easy it is to do to set up the SMSF and buy an investment property. The best advantage of all is that the 3 million capital gain I mentioned above can be made entirely tax-free. Sounds too good to be true? Watch the video. I have a lot of other videos as well, properties versus shares, where I give you that example. Why property, how to grow a portfolio, property investment strategies, land tax on properties, finance strategies, tax and rental properties, tax and property development, ownership structures, companies, trusts, super funds, positive versus negative gearing is another controversial subject, and how to build a portfolio with a passive cash flow of $50,000 per year with only a $20,000 outlay. What about wealth coaching? I'm also a wealth coach along with my other qualifications, because basically I don't want my clients to learn the hard way. I made a lot of mistakes. You can learn from my mistakes and my knowledge. So what is wealth coaching? It differs from life coaching. Basically, there's a lot of life coaches out there, and I mean them no detriment when I say that, but a lot of life coaching needs financial bent behind it. A lot of people have dreams and goals and things they want to do, but how are they going to finance those goals? So, wealth coaching is someone to help you design your goals, guide you through each financial decision, guide you through every financial stage, help you stay on track, and my team can also assist with financial paperwork and compliance. So if you're stuck in a financial rut, you know there's a better way, a smarter way to get your money to get ahead, but you just aren't sure how. If the information is too confusing and overwhelming to grasp, or you just need some assistance finding your way through the financial maze, consider our wealth coaching packages. We have a wealth breakthrough package, a holistic wealth through property package, holistic wealth through business package. If you'd like to know more, look at our website or contact myself, Catherine, at wfscanberra.com.au for more information. We have a saying at Holistic Financial Solutions, and that is, life is a challenge. Meet it. Life is love. Share it. Life is a dream. Realize it. And life is a game. So play it. So thank you for listening to my audio series, and hopefully you will join us for a few other videos.